What is up? Hashtag Nation and Bills Mafia tonight. Paul, it's a Monday and we're going live. Something must be up.
Yeah. The Bills lost to the Patriots. Let's get this shit back together.
I'm not. It's like the old Edge promo. I'm not telling you. I'm not asking you to beat Brock Lesnar. I'm telling you to.
Right. That's it. That's it. Well, you know what? And kudos to Bill Belichick, right? When you don't have a great football team, what do? You win every game against the teams inside your division. Right? That's all you worry about. That's it. That's 6 games, right? How many games do you need to make the playoffs? You need 10 wins. 10 wins get you like on the doorstep of the play. So you're telling me if you run your division, you got to win 4. You got to cobble together 4 wins. You got 12. You got, 11 other games to win 4 games.
So does that supposed to put the Buffalo Bills fans at ease that the season's not over yet?
Well, no, we lost 2 divisional games.
They did that last year too.
Yeah, sure did. Not out of the box. Out of the box.
Yeah, out of the box.
I don't. What was the second game we dropped?
I don't know.
Oh, see, it's right.
They lost to the Jets.
Yep.
And
yeah, there you go again. You're writing checks your mouth can't cash.
They were 0-2 they were 0-2 to start in the division.
I'll pull up the schedule from 2022. We'll see if you're having hot flashes or not.
I probably, All right, everybody in the chat is booming. Hashtag Nation is rolling. I just want to go through our preliminaries. Tonight's show is sponsored by Mr. Rogers Homes. Link in the description. You can find all of our stuff on our socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All episodes will be on iTunes and Spotify. If you're listening on iTunes and Spotify, you're one of the few. That's phenomenal. That's awesome. Lost to Miami week 4. Oh, week 3 last year. So
lost to Miami. Yeah, but
Daniel Gowry's picking it up.
Yeah, but they didn't. Oh, then they lost the Jets.
Yeah,
it was the Dolphins and the Jets. Yeah, back to backers.
It was.
Yeah, they still won the division. Still won the division
with Chaos Josh. I think
Josh.
Ryan wanted to patent that. Chaos
Josh. That's a good one.
First time you're hearing it was from Ryan on a tweet, and you're hearing it on Hashtag Nation here.
What's up? I like that one.
We're gonna coin that one. And
yeah,
we're gonna.
I like that one.
Couple ones were kind of like stolen from us, but we're gonna coin that one. Oh my God, Bonds GOAT. Haven't seen Bonds in a while. Breaking: Dawson Knox out with a foot injury after dropping his helmet.
What is he, Dan Carpenter? You remember when Carpenter punted himself in the face with his helmet?
Yeah,
I find his helmet on the ground, and that was great.
I find it very ironic that Dawson Knox is having surgery on his hand the day after Kincaid has 8 catches.
But Dawson Knox was not great yesterday.
No, he was not.
It wasn't great.
He'll tell you that himself. Great. He's got to tell you that himself.
Yeah. But I mean, the wrist had been bothering him for a few weeks, and I think yesterday was just clearly like, hey, how bad is Quentin Morris? Right? He's got a catch. He's got 1 catch this year.
How about Reggie Gilliam?
Not a tight end. Not a tight end.
Well,
how tall are those spikes you putting on him to make him a tight end in the NFL? 6 foot tight end. Get out of here.
All right, so the Buffalo Bills will be going against the 3-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers this Thursday. It'll be on Amazon Prime, and I was told that it's on Twitch as well. So if you can actually, Twitch is free. So I guess if you can't get it.
If you haven't checked out the Prime Vision, when you go into the game on Amazon Prime, you can actually select the English, the Spanish broadcast, or Prime Vision. Prime Vision is actually a lot of fun. It is actually.
There's a lot of moving parts on it, though.
It's a lot to watch. It's a lot to watch, but it's not like the Nickelodeon game where they turned everybody into like Toy Story characters or whatever the hell happened.
That was so weird.
I did not. My cornea could not handle taking in all that information. No. I looked at it for a second and was like,
which is weird because your favorite movie is Moana, which is
hey, make way.
You're welcome. All right, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we're 3-1. Tampa Bay, can we be serious for 10 minutes? I don't think we can. All right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were 3-1. They're on an 0-2 skid, losing to the Lions and the Falcons, only mustering up 20 points of their own offensively. You thought New England was going to be a get-right game. Seems like Seems like Tampa could possibly be. And Paul, you mentioned something on the post game yesterday. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch it. There's not a lot of whining in it. It's just a little bit of objective breakdowns. And one thing that this channel will never be accused of is being homers. Honestly, like we beat up this team more than the opponents have this year. So, you want to go check that out. You said that you don't expect a lot of things to change from a Sunday to Thursday game, which we're going on history for that. I mean, that you don't see a lot of big changes in between a Sunday and a Thursday game.
Right.
We have kind of stayed away from a lot of these games, trying to compare it to previous games because there's so much changeover in the NFL with coaches and players. You're like, oh yeah, the last time the Buffalo Bills played this team, they had this player, this player, this player. Oh, they should do this. No, it's totally different regime, totally different staff and stuff like that. I think it's poignant though to bring it up that there's a lot of similar players and defensive, especially defense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that the Bills are going to be going against again. You know what I mean? You got Todd Bowles there. I think Larry Foote is the defensive coordinator. They were like the linebackers.
It's a tougher matchup. Yeah, it's a tougher matchup. Bowles is real familiar with the AFC.
Yes, he is.
Real familiar.
So Casey Rogers and Larry Foote are co-defensive coordinators. They were on the staff the last time the Buffalo Bills went to Tampa. But Brady was a quarterback there. Now you got Baker Mayfield there. Do you think that will help the Bills this Thursday? Do you think that's going to be, they're just kind of like in their own zone right now with how their offense is being run?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's tough to say, Mark. Like, there's not a lot going well for Tampa. If you look at how things have gone for them just over the last few weeks, I don't think they've scored 27 points in over a month. And they've already had their bye, right? I think they had a week 5 bye and they come back and they score 6 points on Detroit, and then they score 13 and losing to Atlanta. Like, it is skid city for that team. They're 3-3 and things were looking fine at the start of the season. They went win against, they went win against Minnesota, 20 points, win against Chicago, 27 points, lost to Philly. They only scored 11, but I mean, you're talking Philly. Right. Yeah, it's Philly. Then you win against the Saints. You score 26 points. That was October 1st, right?
Yes.
But that's it. That after that, you score 6 points and 13 points coming off the bye. Like this is things are just going very, very, very poorly for Tampa right now.
Sounds familiar though.
It sure does, doesn't it?
They lose a conference game and a divisional game coming into this one.
Yeah. But it's true. Statistically, right? Yeah. You're looking at what are they ranked here? They're 28th in points scored and 4th in points allowed,
which is good. I mean, that even though they've lost the last 2 games, they're on par with their points allowed. So the defense is still keeping them in games.
Yeah,
the offense is sputtering.
Familiar? Yeah, doesn't that sound familiar? Right. Yeah, exactly. But overall, they've got a middle of the road offense and a middle of the road defense. It's truthfully what it is. They're a very mediocre team. And they've got some weapons, right? You got Baker as your quarterback. I like Rashad White. I like the running back.
He is 11 touchdowns already this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard not to like that, but he's their whole offense right now. Even with Mike Evans and even with Chris Godwin, that it's the cupboards are bare outside of that.
Yeah,
and they have been for years in Tampa. Like, this isn't anything new.
The thing that's surprising too about White is that he's not just a banger inside the tackles with having 11 touchdowns. He is 3rd on the team in receptions as well.
Yeah, well, he's quick to the edge.
He's
a very quick player. It's a very impressive running back. And on the defensive side of the ball, there is nothing to write about. There's just, I understand they're 4th in points allowed, but they run the scheme that you would expect a Todd Bowles defense to run. It is nothing fancy. It is smash mouth football, and McDermott should have a very good handle on what that looks like. Difference is McDermott's not running the offense, and he keeps saying that he trusts his offensive coordinators. He's like, no, I trust the offensive staff. I trust the staff.
Well, I think he found that out when he said he was very concerned about Diggs early in the season, like before the season even started. And he realized what that brought up. So I don't think he wants to say even less now at some of the pressers. He wants to totally listen. We're fine. We're good.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of, much like the Buffalo Bills for years had a lot of incumbent players. This Tampa Bay defense has a lot of incumbent players that are going to be facing Josh Allen in this offense once again. I mean, you got Barrett, Vea, your boy Joe Tryon, Jamel Dean,
Yeah.
Devin White, Ryan Neal, Levante David. At 33, he's a leading tackler on the team. And then he just it's a recipe for if the Bills lose and the Bills get dragged up and down the field, I'm not going to be surprised about it. With the way they're playing right now, they'd have trouble with an SEC. They'd have trouble with an SEC team.
I think it's a weird scenario that Buffalo's in, right? Because it's a tale of identity. Like this is a team that has been, you were able to take risks on the offensive side of the football because you had the defense, right?
Yeah,
and that defense is holding guys off, but that is just a matter of time before like they're going to give up 25 points a game. It's the way that it's going to be, and I don't think they've identified yet how to make that work on the offensive side of the ball, right?
Yeah.
Like it's at this point where there's no injuries on the offense. So what's the problem, right? The defense is decimated. If these injuries were spread across both sides of the ball, you could say, okay, I get it, but they're all on the defensive side of the football. So what's the problem, right? Did Buffalo really, really, really depend on all those turnovers that their defense was generating? They're not going to get them anymore.
No.
That well is dry, right? Like your Jordan Poyer punch out might be the season highlight for Poyer. He's having a terrible year statistically. He's not looking great, and we've talked about that endlessly on this channel, right? But at some point, you gotta stop trying to give everybody playing time and just say, listen, these are our 4 best receivers. These are the 4 best people that catch the ball. We're just going to beat you with these 4 guys.
Yes, they should. They should do that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they should do that like all the time.
Yeah.
With Poyer, being what he is, I think it may be time to give Taylor Rapp some work in the secondary.
Well, I mean, Teron Johnson's going to get beat up in the slot. Is that a job for Rapp?
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a job for him in there because you're going to have Mike Evans in there. And Mike Evans, I think the last time the Buffalo Bills played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think he went 6 for 50 with a touchdown. But then again, we have to take all things considered. Brady was playing in that game. So we're not, we don't know how this new offense is going to look a little bit, with Mayfield. I mean, he has been protecting the ball. He only has 4 interceptions on the year, 8 touchdowns. So 4 of those touchdowns are to Mike Evans. So it's like, an offense where the quarterback really only targets 1 receiver.
Yeah, the tallest guy on the field. Yeah, and to Carl's point, Dawson Knox having wrist surgery, but unless they're installing new hands on the other side of that wrist, I'm not really looking forward to Dawson coming back. To be perfectly fair,
isn't it that old?
What?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say Daniel Gary's again right on point. Right, you're missing your number 1 CB, your best playmaker on defense. And then your best run defender, on top of the fact that you've got Von Miller, who's simply just not up to speed.
Played 6 plays, 6 snaps.
Yeah.
He's not there yet.
He's not healthy.
It was a luxury that you had him back this far, this early.
Yeah.
I mean, we said
and Rousseau not being healthy.
I was saying that this offense that they were running earlier in the year complemented the defense that they had, not the defense they currently have. So now you have to switch up offensive philosophies almost to like a 2022, 2021, where you have to just say, we're going to score points at will. If the defense is out there for a little while, the defense is out there for a little while. Just don't get drug up and down the field. Let them have 6-7 minute drives. If they score, they score. We know that's going to happen. But we have to score as an offense. We need to be more explosive offensively. We need to get the ball down the field a little bit more. The problem is the offensive line struggled terribly in the game against the Patriots. I mean, it didn't look good at all. No, but what I was going to say with the whole Knox thing It's like that old joke when the guy has to have hand surgery and he goes into the doctor. He goes, "Doc, will I be able to play the piano?" He goes, "Yeah, absolutely." He goes, "Good, because I couldn't play it before." It's like
Well,
Dawson Knox. Like, can he catch? Yeah, if he could catch
and
before.
I don't know if you guys or if anybody in the internet watched the Philly Dolphins game, but that was an example of two quarterbacks who don't have the greatest of arms making anticipatory throws, throwing the ball to where
Mhm.
the receiver's going instead of Allen, who throws the ball to where the receiver is right now, right?
Yeah.
And that is a big facet of the offense that just isn't there,
No.
right? And you saw it in spurts last year. Like you saw glimpses of it. It was like the sparkly thing that I think we all got a little excited about was, oh my gosh, can you believe Josh threw that ball with some touch? And I'm just seeing, Aroldis Chapman under center right now, throwing the ball 146 miles an hour. He doesn't throw the ball to his targets. He throws it through the targets.
You got
And
to explain that reference.
what? Which reference?
The Chapman one.
Oh, Aroldis Chapman. Oh yeah, former closer for the Yankees and former closer for the Cincinnati Reds. Current owner of the fastest baseball pitched in Major League history. Yeah. Um. So, but the point is, right? Is the windows in the NFL are so small, and Josh does have the ability to fit the ball into tight windows. The problem is he needs time in order to wait for that to happen, right?
Mm,
And this line's not going to give him that much time, and he starts creating backwards. So he's taking negative yardage, right? Putting himself further away, which means that window gets smaller and smaller the further and further he puts himself away from the receiver. And he's not throwing the ball to, like when was the last time you saw a guy run a corner route with Josh and the ball was just laid out there?
and him
Like
throw it? No, I
doesn't
haven't
happen.
seen that.
Right.
No, I
Doesn't
haven't seen
happen.
it. Like the anticipatory throws. Also, when you have those throws and you built that into your offense, it allows for a run after the catch,
Mhm.
which is something that we're not seeing out of this offense. Wherever Josh throws the ball and the receiver catches it, that's where it is. That is the result of making your reads late because the defender and all these guys are so fast in the NFL now
Mhm.
that once you're able to put it on him, he's able to secure it, but then that's where they stay.
Right.
That's where the ball's going to be.
Right.
So that is the stuff that we were talking about last night that I think I put on Josh. We talked about when he was drafted, one of the pluses, the plus side of having Josh Allen is the fact that if he makes his read late, his arm is strong enough to get the ball there.
Mhm.
We shouldn't be having that discussion in year 6.
No.
It shouldn't be, oh, he made it late. This is what happens. You know what I mean? So that is why I shoulder a little bit of the blame on Josh, as we were talking yesterday, because everyone wants to put it on Dorsey, and I understand, rightfully so. After watching, some of the tapes from this year, why are two guys in the same spot? Did they read it differently? I mean, who was it? It was John Brown. John Brown said that a guy that played for Bruce Arians said that Dable's offense was one of the most difficult for him to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And you think
believe that.
Dorsey's just kind of taken it and put his own little spin on it.
Mhm.
It's got to be even more difficult to learn. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I did want to bring up one thing for Hashtag Nation that I don't think anybody is talking about. I've mentioned it a couple times, but I haven't seen any of the big heads talking about it. I do want to put this graphic up for everybody. Hashtag Nation, if you're here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're not already subscribed for us. It lets the YouTube know this is a pretty good channel. So, all right, we recognize these two guys. Hashtag Nation, if you're watching on your phone, this is Josh Allen and Cam Newton. I put a statistical comparison prior. This is prior to the season. This is the first 5 seasons of Josh Allen and Cam Newton. Break into Mario's house and steal it.
What the Hashtag Nation shower curtain?
Yeah, it's not really a shower curtain. Like if I hung this in the shower, it'd be kind of weird. I don't know. I would. So, I mean, we're looking at it 77 games to 78 games. So you get to see the highlighted is the one that's the leader. Passing yards look eerily similar. They're like 100 away from each other. Passing TDs, obviously Josh has the nod there, and he's interceptions look pretty close too. My concern was these numbers down here. We start talking about rushing attempts, rushing yards, and very impressive. Your first 5 years in the league, you're running the ball 546 times in 5 seasons. Prior to last game, Josh Allen was on pace for like 62 carries this year. Obviously, we all know he's not running as much. You got James Cook back there, and you had Harris and you have Murray. Why would you run him? Okay. But I think the concern coming from Brandon Beane specifically, Sean McDermott specifically, and Ken Dorsey, who worked closely with Cam Newton, was the fact that they didn't want to have 3 more years of Josh Allen playing at this pace where he's actually effective. They wanted to have him for the long run, because the longer they have Josh Allen, the longer they have jobs. So I think what's not being talked about, and possibly might be something that happened, was they may have sat Dorsey down and said, listen, this happened in Carolina. I think for the next 3 seasons after this, Cam Newton only had like 2 more wins than losses career-wise. And then he went to New England. We all saw how that went. But I think they wanted to preserve Josh. And the fact is, he's already came into this season with a bunch of injuries, especially to the most important parts of his body that you need him. You know what I mean? So now you add in a shoulder injury that he was on the injury report for, and his elbow, you talked about it last year, that never heals, Paul. You told me UCLs don't heal.
No.
Unless you physically have surgery and rest it doesn't heal.
Right.
That all being considered, hashtag Nation of Bills Mafia, I think that they sat Dorsey down and said, you can't run him as much. Figure something else out. And we saw, and we even touted it the first couple games. Hey, they're dropping the ball down. He's actually doing checkdowns. He's throwing it to Cook in the flat. He's throwing it here. They got an extra tight end so he can actually have another outlet so he doesn't have to run the ball as much. And unfortunately, due to what happened with the defense, due to what happened, what's going on with this season, I unfortunately have to say that they have to take the handcuffs off of this kid and let him run.
Yeah, at this point,
even though he might be hurt. I may regret saying that because he may get hurt, doing his shoulder might even get worse.
Sure.
But I think it's time that you have to resort and break open the 2022 Josh Allen out of the box and let him play versus Tampa. And then figure out, you got 11 days before you take on Cincinnati. You got 11 days to figure it out and let him run. Because I really think, looking at these statistics, they didn't want to burn Josh out. I firmly believe they didn't want to do that. So they're like, hey, what do we need to do? Ken, you got to figure out an offense that keeps Allen in the pocket and he doesn't get hurt, because we want to keep this kid for another 10 years, not another 3.
Right.
So
sure.
Hashtag Nation, give me your opinion. I may be completely wrong on this, but we all saw how Cam Newton's career fizzled out. His career ended way before it should have with the athlete that he is. But I just think sometimes Allen's got room and he's got people in front of him. And that was one of the facets of his game that made him very dangerous and that actually opened up things down the field because people thought he was going to run.
Well, and I think it's easy for teams right now because the book is out that Josh isn't going anywhere. So they could set a linebacker in the middle of the field and he's a coverage guy now.
Yeah.
Right? He's a coverage guy. So I want to point out real quick, the Bills yards after catch. We're going to go average yards. And let's play a game, Mar.
Oh boy.
We're going to go in order. Who do you think has the highest yards after the catch per reception on the Bills? So who has the highest yards after catch per reception on the Bills? Give me the top 3. Who are your top 3 in order? I need them in order. James Cook is excluded from this list.
Why?
Right? Because
he was my first pick.
Yeah, no, Cook is excluded. So exclude the running backs.
It's going to be a running back. They always got more rack than anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, exclude the running backs.
It's got to be somebody that he throws to, very, very short. So it could be anybody at this point.
Yep. Top 3 in order.
I would say it goes Kincaid, Davis, Diggs.
Okay. I think that's a lovely thought. Okay. Coming in at a whopping 5.8 yards after the catch per reception, your leader, Trent Sherfield.
What?
Second at 5.2 yards after the catch is Deontay Hardy. By the way, they've combined for 19 receptions this season between the two of them. Then all the way down at 3.9 yards per reception, Khalil Shakur. At eight catches this season. So your leaders in yards after the catch have 27 receptions on the entire season. Gabe Davis is
Oh,
averaging 3.1, I think. Yeah, 3.3 yards after the catch.
oh,
No, 3.1. Diggs is 3.3. Gabe Davis is 3.1.
that is abysmal.
But
That's
I think
not,
it tells you that you're leaving money on the table.
no doubt.
Right, you're
No doubt.
leaving money on the table. And again, it's we could have we could have a clubbing match here trying to figure out whether that's Allen or Dorsey. The fact of the matter is that your three highest yards after catch guys have the minimal least involvement in your entire offense, and that has to change.
It does.
It has to change.
But this is going to be the proverbial chicken or the egg, Paul. Is
I
he
know.
making the reads late, or did Dorsey tweak too much trying to keep Allen in the pocket that it's not normal? Like, he does not. I have not seen him in rhythm, and that is very weird to say about a team that just played a second half and scored 3 touchdowns out of 4 possessions.
Mm-hmm.
It's very weird to say that, but that's why statistics don't really tell the whole story.
Oh yeah, and can you just real quick, because Buffalo Mafia News asked in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Weren't you beefing with somebody on Twitter last night?
I was unbelievably just absolutely.
Guys, you need to understand the hardship of sharing a Twitter handle with someone, because you'll just be getting replies to things that you didn't write and conversations you're not having. It's hard. Like, it is a challenge.
I had so much fun trolling him because all he was doing was complaining about the refs in the Eagles game and telling me how amazing Tua is. And I just said, I was like, oh, and I was being completely condescending to him. I was like, oh, boo boo. I feel sorry for Tua. It's okay. You threw a pick on the game, game tying drive, and you gave up the game. It's okay.
I saw Tua throw a ball. It was maybe 30 yards downfield. And while the ball was in the air, I was looking to see if it had one of those propellers on it, like the Nerf balls that you can throw like a far distance. Remember when those first came out? Those Nerf balls had the propellers on the back. Like, oh, you could throw it 100 yards.
Hey, Paul, did you still have that thing up? Carl asked. He said Kincaid was 8 for 8 for 75. How many of those were yak?
Oh,
just tomorrow or overall?
I don't have the breakdown per game, but
okay.
I honestly, it probably was. I don't think he had more than 18 yards after the catch. Like, it's a small number.
Yeah, because a lot of times he caught it, he didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, he was Sammy Watkins tuck and roll. That's it.
Yeah, Paz comes in. That's always going to be something. You know what I mean? Mahomes has Andy Reid, Allen has Dorsey. I mean, and Allen wanted Dorsey. We have to remember that Allen wanted Dorsey to be the offensive coordinator of the team.
Totally true.
And I thought it was just to keep him. Like, I think he wanted to play the way he was playing all the time, and apparently that's not what we see. Now, it could be a situation where Allen is way more hurt than we know. Yeah. That's why he has all the confidence in Dorsey. It's like Dorsey's calling guys. They're watching the tape, guys. It could be the fact that, yes, and Mueller even said it earlier. He said, I'm tired of guys being 5 yards within each other when they're running routes. I'm tired of that crap too. But it could be a situation where more often than not, Allen is missing reads of open players. So McDermott's like, listen, he's scheming the guys open. It just doesn't seem like there's an identity. And the identity for the previous 5 years was he's going to go off the rails at some point and run somebody over and give his team a spark, and they're going to drop 21 in a row.
Right.
And then this defense is going to, bend but not break.
Right.
Well, and I think you need that.
Well, and I don't know if there's a bigger statement than Belichick playing single high safety almost that entire game. Right. Like, that is a statement of him saying, come beat me deep. Come beat me deep. And they couldn't. Right. So at that point, what's the allure of Allen's arm? Right. There isn't one. Like, your longest completed pass is 55 yards. Like, there's no allure to that arm at this point. And that's on notice. The rest of the league knows. And that's what I mean. Like, you go against this Tampa Bay team, they're going to bring pressure. They're going to pressure you.
Yes.
They're going to pass rush
from odd angles.
Yeah.
You're going to see it from all over.
They're going to give you everything you can handle and more. They're going to keep coming. So you need to be prepared to make quick decisions.
Well,
And that's why this game is a bit of a concern for me, because when Josh was on the quick decision, when he had 3 seconds or less in the pocket, he was 17 for 17 yesterday. That's not a lot of time. 1, 2, 3, ball's got to be out. 17 for 17. Outstanding. But I think he only completed 4 other passes. He threw the ball 41 times. Am I remembering that correctly, Mar?
It didn't. It looked like it felt like less. It felt like less. It felt like he wasn't even in a rhythm. Felt like he was struggling. It felt like he was forcing the ball. He was dropping his elbow, throwing it high. It really bothered me, a lot of the things that he was doing yesterday. Yeah. But the one thing I will say this, and I'm sorry, #Nation, for telling you guys this. The one thing that will be missed, unfortunately, in your $16 million tight end, is the fact of what Paul just said, is you're going to see a lot of odd man pressures. So what was the one thing that the Buffalo Bills did early in the season? They would go 12 personnel. They'd have Knox and Kincaid out there, and they would just have Knox chip on Spencer Brown's side or Deion Dawkins' side, which helps you. It legitimately helps you, that split second that you need in order to get yourself in position to get in front of somebody and block them. It is huge. And that's what Knox did very, very well. He would always chip, and then he would go out in his route. If Kincaid is assigned that responsibility, he's going to be late in his routes all the time.
Oh, big time. Yeah. They've done a good job of keeping Kincaid clean, right? And getting him out in those routes. But again, he's just looking and settling in zones. He's got the simplest job right now in that offense. It is look where the linebackers are and just stand 2 yards in front of him. Like this, just find the zones and settle. And that game yesterday was a perfect example of that. He wasn't working routes for those catches. He was just doing the Jason Witten. Just run out there a little bit and turn around, put a chair right there, and just I'm here.
If you need me.
But it's true. And now without Knox, I think you're going to see this offense actually get unlocked, right? Because they were running personnel groupings again, because I think they think they're different than they are, right?
Yeah.
And I really do think they think they're different than what they are. So you're going to see some Quentin Morris. I don't mind that. That's fine. Quentin Morris he's a fine player. He will do a fine job for you. He'll sneak in with a couple nice catches.
That's what I'm saying. He's not going to scare anybody on that defense, so he'll sneak in there for a couple catches.
He's Cameron Brate. Like it's Tampa. Cameron Brate still plays in Tampa. Cameron Brate's going to show up for 1 reception on Thursday.
It'll be a first down.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? He's going to show up for 1 reception. That's going to be what happens.
Well, I think the biggest thing, if we could circle this back around to Dorsey, the thing that bothers me about it, Paul, and you and I have been around this game a long time. We've been covering this team a long time. Even when they had awful coordinators, we knew early in the game, okay, I could see what they're trying to set up later. I could see they're trying to set this up. They're trying to set that up. They're not who they thought they were. That's why we took the damn field.
Elite level comment, Daniel. I'm proud
of
it.
That is 100%
elite level comment.
So, but I don't see that with Dorsey. I don't know what he's trying to set up in his script.
Right.
And that bothers me. That's where you lack the identity of this offense.
Yep.
And I just don't see it. Like,
Totally
why is he running this? You want to run all those short routes? Great. That's great if you're going to take a shot deep when the guys start creeping up in the box, but you're not taking shots deep.
Right. Well, and that's, again, it's just to harken over to the Philly Miami game, right? Because it was one to watch. Those are teams. Philly's a team you have to keep your eye on, and Miami you're going to see again, right? So like teams to watch, and I saw Miami and Philly run the same formation with 4 different like the same pre-snap motions, the same play with 4 different personnel groupings. And they weren't throwing to the same receiver every single time, or they weren't handing it off every single time. Like it was the same formation over and over again with the same pre-snap motion over and over again, but different players were in different spots. And that matters. That makes a huge difference. And those are the things you're not seeing with Buffalo. Like I see Trent Sherfield down the field for a 3rd and 7. Like, okay, well, he's not getting the ball. He's not getting it.
Yeah, I don't understand how they decide to rotate some of the packages, because usually when you have some of those, throughout the history of it, you either want to run the same play out of multiple formations, or you want to run different plays out of the same formation to try to give them a bunch of different looks.
Right.
And I don't see that. I don't
No.
see that at all. And
No.
it's troubling because you're an NFL offensive coordinator. What is going on? What is
Right.
going on with you?
Right. And what Hardy comes away with that one reception and works a dirty first down
Yeah.
and end of list for Deontay Hardy on the day. Like, what the hell? Like Isaiah McKenzie on this team. And God, I can't believe I'm going to
Oh my
pick up the
Lord.
ghost of Isaiah McKenzie.
Oh, Isaiah McKenzie.
Okay, Isaiah McKenzie, do not get me wrong. Love the man, right? Great for the team. Love the guy. Not a deep threat, right? But Isaiah McKenzie had statement games in this offense. Now, that was a coordinator ago, right? This was the ghost of coordinators past. But Isaiah McKenzie made an impact, and his impact impacted the next two games, right? Isaiah McKenzie went out and had a multi-touchdown game, and his multi-touchdown game impacted the next two games because every time he was on the field, they went, "Oh, okay, well, Buffalo might have figured this McKenzie thing out, so we gotta be aware here." You literally can't say that about any receiver not wearing the number 14, right? Wearing anything other than 14, you're like, yeah, I'm not. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just play man. Jet sweeps. That's absolutely right, Sean. 100%.
Paul brought it up in the post game yesterday. It's like the brilliance of a jet sweep. As simple as it is, as simple as it sounds, you end up relieving pressure and helping out your tackles by running a jet sweep. I have not seen one of them.
Nope, not one.
They may have ran one, but I haven't seen it. But what you do is you alleviate some of that pressure because the ends have to stay home. So it gives them that extra second, and I haven't seen a lot of motion either.
No, zero.
For that. I mean, even if you're under center,
you've seen useless motion.
No, it's useless motion. Do anything.
Put Josh under center for the love of God. Can we stop running draw plays out of shotgun? Carl, thank you for your donation. All super chats go to the hashtag charity for 2023. Cromer had better get the interior offensive line right by Thursday. That the guards got absolutely beat.
They had a bad game. It was the first time that we mentioned them since week 1.
Well, it was, like you're seeing, what was it? You saw a couple penalties out of the guards, one was lining up in the neutral zone. Like, what are you doing? Get your head straight. Because I think there's times where a young player starts getting taken to task, right? And it's going to happen. But Cromer's a pro. Like, I think he's doing the best he can. I don't know what else there can be done about the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, when they do decide to run Cook and Murray, when Allen's under center, it works out well. Sometimes it doesn't.
Play action works great under center. Yeah, works great under center.
Truck reviewer, you think you know somebody, and you think that they have your back, and then look what happens. Now, I know it's going on in the first half of games. It's been Mario playing in Josh's spot, and then they switch at the half. Oh, my God. If I had that kind of athleticism to do anything in a football game.
Well, and Bonds up here saying that we're getting a kickback for defending Dorsey. There's no defending.
No, my God. We're not defending him at all.
There's no defending Ken Dorsey. No defending Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
But again, I think the issues that you have with Ken Dorsey also is a testament to a coach that just doesn't have the cojones to say, just give me the play sheet then, right? Like, if you're not going to do what I want you to do, then just give me the play sheet. I'll just call the whole game myself, right? Like, get your house in order, because this defense is only going to be able to hold on for so long.
It is. It's put together with bubble gum and duct tape.
Yeah,
like literally,
dollar store duct tape.
You have guys that are practice squad guys. Dollar store duct tape. Yeah. Why is it got to be dollar? Why you got to put a store on it? That's crazy.
Because it only comes in 25 square yards. Listen, I don't think we need to go into my my history with dollar store duct tape. Okay, let's not even go there.
I can't leave today. I really can't. So I'm gonna. Now, it's interesting you bring up the defenses. We have to talk about them. You had Mac Jones in this offense, which really hasn't done anything. In less than 2 minutes, drive up the field, obviously marked by the controversial, pass that you had to Ramondre Stevenson that actually put him right into field goal range, which helped them out quite a bit. Yeah. I'm not going to be on the refs for that. The game never came down to something like that.
Are you kidding me? I mean? The center was so far down the line, he could have pulled the flag out of the back judge's pocket. Flag himself.
He really could have. He really could have. But I mean, that all aside, it's kind of, I always try to look on the bright side, Paul. So I will say that it was probably a good thing that happened, because now, we've been focusing on Dorsey so much, focusing on Allen so much. McDermott, even though there's injuries over there, he's the defensive guru. He has to figure it out. He's the guy, right? You willingly took over play calling duties on the defensive side of the ball for that reason.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, hey, listen, hey, you're going to be held accountable just like everybody else that's in the room, even though injuries aside. You know what I mean? You probably should have built your team a little bit more depth, and they do have a lot of depth. It was just crazy. Like, they have so much depth still. But you're giving up 29 points to a New England Patriots team who literally played a perfect game on offense, with the exception of the fumble. I mean, they did. They really did.
Well, and I think there's so much to be said at this point, Mario, because like when you take a look at the Bills roster in totality, right? Like you lose Matt Milano, you lose Daquan Jones, you lose Trey White.
So huge.
Right. It's huge issues. And you respond with re-signing Josh Norman and AJ Klein. Right, like
that low key pissed me off.
That's what I mean. Like the trade deadline is around the corner, right? Around the corner, and this is this is where we are. Like, what the hell are we doing? Like we're just gonna go back. Is this defense that complex, right? That you have to call both those guys off the couch? Like I know AJ Klein played in preseason, but I mean, give me a break. Give me a break right now. What are we doing here?
Those guys aren't going anywhere. Why do you gotta have them in the building?
No. Yeah, I think there's a point where you need to look at your late round picks, what you have, and say, Raiders, you're not going anywhere, right? Like let's figure something out. I'm not saying for Devontae Adams. So I think that's another thing is people say, well, Buffalo needs to add a weapon on offense. I don't think that gear is in their transmission, guys. No. I think they're going to address the defense. I really think that's going to be what happens.
That's a priority for McDermott right now.
It is, and I don't think they could take another injury, right? No. Like they're on the razor's edge of being really bad. Like really bad.
Like we talked about the game that Teron Johnson had. He didn't have the best game ever, but if he goes down,
oh yeah.
Good Lord.
You're in it deep, right? So I know people keep talking about, well, Buffalo will add, an offensive weapon. Maybe they'll add an offensive weapon. Like I don't see it. I just don't see it from them. They are just simply too defensive minded and often way too conservative, right?
Very.
So, go re-sign AJ Klein and Josh Norman, and like that's how you end up with conservative.
And it makes it worse when the Philadelphia Eagles trade a 5th and a 6th and Edmonds for Bayard. What's his name? From Tennessee.
Yeah. Kevin Bayard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Why can't you do that? How? But we need to take that.
He's as old as we are, Mar.
Hey, enough. No, but I want to say though, just to put, be completely transparent, Paul and I went over the Philadelphia Eagles roster in the offseason, and we looked at what Howie Roseman does. And it's pretty funny to see like the first top 8 contracts that the Philadelphia Eagles have so many voided years built into it.
Oh yeah.
That when those time bomb. Yeah, those are the ticking time bombs that when those players go, they're not going to have anything in the cabinet either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what Bean is trying to do is trying to have a steady thing of success rather than a flash in the pan for a year and then you're mediocre for 3 while you build it back up. That's what Roseman did. They won the Super Bowl and then they completely tore it down and then they built it right back up with all these voided deals.
Yep. And I think the opposite side of that is, as a general manager, you can't afford losing. So when it's time to blow it up, the organization and the fans don't respect that, right? When it's time to blow it up, even though it's part of the game. So Bean is trying to keep the ship afloat, but he's put himself in a really bad spot from a contract standpoint with players because he's paying so many players like above average money that everybody's getting their share. And there's no there's no room to make a lot of moves. Like there's not the finances to do it. And you've kind of already expelled a lot of the things that you could do by just getting to this point. So it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, like that's what has happened in this roster build. It's hey, we're going to add this guy. Don't worry. He's only going to cost $4 million. We do that 10 times, and now you spend $40 million on players who, again, could start for your team. But like you're paying Ryan Bates a lot of money.
You are. He's sitting on the bench.
And he's not doing anything for you, right? Like there's players like that. And you have to bet on young players at some point. I think the defense right now is a product of they knew where they were going to invest their money on the defense. That was in Matt Milano, Von Miller, and Ed Oliver. And Trey White.
Yeah. Well,
how's that going? How's that going for you today?
Well,
right. And to back that up, you're going with undrafted players or drafted players. We talk about Kira Elam, but the fact of the matter is you have to depend on drafted players to back up those huge dollar contracts. And when those huge dollar contracts go down, this is the situation that you find yourself in. Buffalo has to do something. But I think a lot of people are just expecting them to go to the offense because like, well, this offense needs an injection and the offense needs an identity. And I don't care if you add any player to it. Go out. You want to go get DeAndre Hopkins now? Go ahead and get DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know what that's going to do for you. I really don't. I don't know what that's going to do for you.
Yeah.
Take Gabe Davis off the field. That's all it's going to do. It's going to take Gabe Davis off the field 50% of the time.
And does
that make you better? I don't know.
This will be the last time you see Gabe Davis then, if you go and make that move. And there's no guarantee you have Hopkins and or Davis next year.
Exactly.
So then you're back at square one.
Yeah.
What do you do? Justin Shorter? Like, what do you do next year?
IR Justin Shorter, not playing this year, right?
Yeah, I know.
He's on IR the rest of the season. So, but exactly, right? It's that long. It's like Bean is at a chess tournament playing chess with every year. Like he's at one table playing this year's game of chess, and then he's at another table playing, simultaneously. That's next year. And then he's at another table. He's playing that. If that's 2 years from now, right? Like he's playing 3 games of chess at once, and that's fine if you don't have attrition. And you got attrition right now. You're losing players left and right. And
and that it doesn't matter unless you just want to take each of those chess matches into the playoffs and not win any of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's playing. That's how he's playing it.
Right. And unfortunately, a player like Gabe Davis has no trade values in the last year of his contract. Nobody's going to want that. That's going to trade you something for that, right? Mm-mm. You can't trade anybody on the defense right now. No. Like you could have traded AJ Epineza in week 2 or week 3. Can't do that now, right? No. Like you can't do that now. So like this team doesn't have a lot of leverage. And it's got a lot of needs. And again, I would be shocked if the moves that they make weren't on the defensive side of the football. I would be shocked.
The bloom is slowly coming off the rose as far as, hey, I'll take a pay cut.
Listen to you.
Yeah, I'll take a pay cut to play with the Bills. Not now.
When did you start teaching Chaucer at work?
Can we I'll leave that as a homework assignment for #Nation later. I'll drop that one later. But like, as far as the defensive adjustments to go, I want to see more rep. I want Poyer to try to get into that Matt Milano role like he did in 2019 and 2020 when Milano got hurt and went down for a few games.
Yep.
Because right now,
he's your best answer at linebacker. I totally agree with you.
At this point in your career, with the speed he is and the tread, he could play that for 10, 15 snaps a game for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll allow you to let, the young Dorian Williams learn. I mean, you already took him out and you brought in Dotson on a lot of those passing downs.
Yep.
And how did that work out for you? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where you have to, you just can't just keep hanging on with the players that you have. You had these incumbents in there for far too long. You really did. And it's not working out. It's not working out. The offensive identity has to be, the offense has to have an identity first of all, and you got to let Josh. You got to take the handcuffs off of him in order to run around a little bit more, because that was one big facet of his game that you're not doing. Mm-hmm. You're not doing it at all.
Yep. It's
like, you can't throw deep. We're not gonna let you throw deep anymore. Why? I have an arm that throws 80. Like, you're not gonna let me throw deep? No. This offense right now is set up for Kyle Allen, not Josh Allen.
That's an interesting point.
That's the unfortunate thing. Kyle
Yeah.
Allen could run this offense that's on the field right now.
That's an interesting point.
Isn't it sad? I have to say that.
No, let's say it's true. But offenses like this are often dependent on yards after catch, and it's as a topic that we've exhausted. That's not existed in Buffalo and as long as I can remember, right? And admittedly, you went against the Giants and the Patriots, both guys who run a similar offensive system to you and know that system in and out, and you gave them exactly what they thought you were going to give them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and I think I talked about this with, I can't remember who I talked about this with on Twitter. Somebody, I said, listen, I knew the Giants game was going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
Forget records. These two teams know each other better than any two teams in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get any mystery. I mean, even better than if the Patriots played the Raiders. Dable and McDermott and that staff and that front office really know each other better than anybody. I knew it was going to be a close game. I just didn't know it was going to be like as bad as it was. But you looked at now you just went through two teams. Now you're 1-1. Really wish you could have lost the NFC game, but it is what it is. I don't care. But the point was, you're not going to find any other team in the NFL that knows you as well as the last two games you just played.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's 100% true. Yep.
So
that's very true.
The key is to try to figure it out. You don't play the Eagles all the time. You played Cincinnati in the playoffs last year. Who else do they have on the schedule, Paul? I'm sorry. It goes Tampa, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Denver. You never have any familiarity with that. You played in 3 years ago, and that's a completely revamped roster and front office. And then you one more, and then the bye. I think playing somebody else. I can't remember. You play another NFC team. You play two NFC teams. That being said, in these next 5 games, you better develop an identity before the bye week, or else you're going to be out of it by the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be in the hunt graphic again. Remember that? The good old the hunt graphic.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I'm getting PTSD from in the hunt graphic. Oh,
it makes me sick to think about it, to be honest with you. Spin for the first time in what I can say
my man.
He's not right about something. This doesn't ever happen. Spin. Who are the last 5 Super Bowl teams? KC, Rams, KC, Pats, 49ers. One of these things is not like the other. Mario, the last 5 Super Bowl winning teams were who?
Kansas City.
Yep.
Tampa.
That's the one that was missing. Yep. It was Tampa. Yep. Because it went Kansas City.
You want to say Pats because it was Brady during the COVID year, and Brady got to play a home game in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's nice.
Well, the Pats were in there in 19, so they're in the last 5. So the Pats beat the Rams 13-3, and God, do you remember that? Jesus.
I remember everyone.
The worst Super Bowl.
Everyone touting Brady for that. Yeah, a Rams team that scored like 35 points a game came in and scored 3, but that was all Tom.
Yeah, that was awful. You just hate Tom Brady.
Did you know? I think people fail to realize some things that that he's a phenomenal game manager. But did you know that in 8 Super Bowls that Tom Brady played, it was at 8? Yeah, he was 5-3 in New England. In the 8 Super Bowls that Tom Brady played in New England, he never scored a first quarter touchdown.
Man, you just have so many spite stats with
Tom Brady. It's Barry on here on Twitter. He's amazing. Tom Brady had more top 10 defenses after he turned 40 than Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Rodgers. Can we just talk about that?
Combined.
Yeah. Combined. Yeah.
Yeah.
Silly. It's silly, guys. I tell you, it's silly. All right, Paul, listen. What else did I have on the docket for tonight? Trade deadline. Yeah, we already talked about that. So, all right, final Bills Bucks preview. #Nation. We don't usually do this because it is what it is. But if you want to throw your score prediction down in the chat, please do.
Sure.
Have some fun.
It's been a while since we did a game preview. We should do this more.
We should. It would be a lot of fun if I can get time to do it. It'd be awesome. Brady's the GOAT. No denying that. Okay, you're blocked. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, the man was the bane of my existence for 2 decades. I'm not going to let that go easily.
Well, he replaced Bledsoe, so that's where That's
where it started.
Yeah, that's where it starts. I'm sure.
Mo Lewis killed Wally Pipp. That's all I
Yeah.
know.
Hey, listen, Denny Martinez hit Kirby Puckett in the head with the baseball bat with the baseball in his last at bat before he found out he had glaucoma. I don't hate Denny Martinez. Okay, like
Yes, you do. You secretly do.
he played for the Expos, dude. Everybody hated him. It didn't matter. He played for the Expos. Nobody likes the Expos.
Bills 31, Bucks 21, Dorsey execution.
Is that halftime show? Is that the halftime show?
I think the Bills can get 35-17. I think it's very
Alex 69-0.
There it is. There's always I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills didn't score 20.
I'm kind of with you on that, right? Like the fan in you says Buffalo's going to go out and score 100 points, right?
Yeah.
Like the fan in you wants to believe that, but it's a short week. They're mentally exhausted from these last 2 games. The bye week's coming up. They're beat up on defense. Like this is a game where I think Buffalo looks at it and says, we were running the ball like not too bad. Like we ran the ball pretty good. And I think a really aggressive defense. What do you think, Mark? Do you think you could run on Todd Bowles' defense?
With Vita Vea in there? Good Lord. That man is a monster.
He is.
I don't know. I don't know if they can. It depends how you scheme it up.
Well, we haven't seen Buffalo get to the edges at all.
3-0 Sabres.
3-0 Sabres. That's a good one.
That's a good
one. So I think if Buffalo's going to run the football and kind of lengthen the game or shorten the game a little bit, right? Because the defense is pretty banged up. They just don't get to the edge very well. Like James Cook turned the corner, and I haven't seen that since
Georgia.
Since Georgia. That's good. That's good. That's just a fast. They have a very rudimentary approach to running the football. Right. It's a very basic. We're only doing this because we have to approach at running the football. And that's not good enough. You can't waste plays. And they waste plays running the football. They run the football with no intent. You can't do that. So would I like to see more run concepts? I would like to see a concept first. Right?
Yeah.
I'd like to see a concept first.
Yeah. Throw something in there that they don't expect. And, I think the first time that Josh makes one read, and then because here's the deal, and everyone wants to talk about this, that, and the third. When there is no difference now when Tua gets off his first read and Allen gets off his first read. They're both done when they do that.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, Allen got off his first read and took off, maybe got 5-6 yards. Now you're not behind schedule. You get a very manageable plays. You're not in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, stuff like that.
That was a big thing with McDermott in the pregame presser today. He was like, "Listen, can't be behind schedule. Can't be third. You can't be 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. You're not going to get anywhere on offense."
Yeah. So I expect if they let Josh loose, like let's say they call a quarterback keeper first play, and they get away from Vita Vea out of there, and they do that. That tells me at least they want to set the tone for the game and say, okay, you're going to run him now? We have to make adjustments, which will open up the passing game.
Yep.
If they don't do that, if they come out and they just do the cookie cutter, I'm going to keep Josh in the pocket and make him do 3 reads. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end up. I know I'm going to be frustrated watching it, but we will be here. Joe will be calling the game on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, and Paul and I will be here for the post game whenever that is. If it goes into overtime again, we're going to have a late night.
Oh, God.
But hopefully the Buffalo
Not
Bills.
again.
Yeah, hopefully the Buffalo Bills can get right. We'd like to thank everyone that came in. The chat was buzzing. You guys are all awesome. #Nation. Always, they never disappoint. So, yeah, Bills Bucks Thursday. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Mr. Rogers Homes. In the description of this video, all of our stuff will be on our socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All of our stuff will be on iTunes and Spotify. Paul, I don't get it. Oh, my homework assignment for everybody. Look up the quote, "Blood is thicker than water." I bet all of you have been using it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of like the jack of all trades, master of none. That's not actually the full statement. There's actually more to that.
Yeah. Just like the other one. I mean, it was a Bible quote, was the blood is thicker than water.
Mm-hmm.
So people use it wrong. People actually use it wrong.
Yeah, it's the same with the jack of all trades thing.
Yeah.
It's actually the shortened version has a totally different meaning. Yeah, it's amazing. English, who knew?
Who knew? All right, guys. For Paul, I'm Mario. We're hashtag, and we're out of here. Have a good night.
Thank you, Paul, as well as the rest of the Hashtag Sports crew. It's an honor being a sponsor. Investing in real estate, especially in the Phoenix metro area, may change your financial picture forever. And it's easier than you may think. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and proud of it. Yet I live in the Valley of the Sun, have for decades, and love it. I also humbly run one of the top real estate teams in Arizona. We help others score, as it were, when it comes to buying, selling, renting, and of course, investing in real estate. I've been a multi-million-dollar producer for many years, and the Mr. Rogers Homes Arizona real estate team has earned the top spot at West USA Realty for 10 years plus. Again, thank you, Hashtag Sports, go Bills, and God bless.